What's up guys and girls, and welcome back. Today we're gonna jump right into part 3 of my final table review of the Bounty Hunters Big Game 21. It was a game with 5,000 runners, so it's rare to make a final table like this, obviously. If you haven't watched the previous parts, make sure to check out in the video description or maybe as a pinned comment here. I showed I think the final 3 or 4 tables coming up to the final table now. We are still, as you can see, 9 players left, and we're gonna jump right into it. I think I remember that there was quite some debatable stuff happening. Okay, why isn't it playing? Okay, sorry. So we start off with Queen Jack here and facing an under the gun raise from a short stack. I remember this player was very active, so I thought it might be a good idea to still consider 3-betting light here. Let's zoom ahead a bit. However, given the stack sizes, I doubt he will be super light here. Yeah, he's one of the shortest stack. Actually, he's the short stack, so he's probably having some steals here with ace-x hands. And my 3-bet here is pretty big. I think it's, what was it, 2.6x or something. So he should find quite some folds if he doesn't have it. Yeah, now he jams. That's yeah. So to make things short, I don't like the 3-bet generally. Given his stack size and given his under the gun range, even if he's an active player, we might too often be donating chips to him. And that's it. Another thing to note here, this guy, the Andreas, opening 3.2x, which is an unusual sizing, obviously, and getting 3-bet by a massive 12 big blinds, which is kind of a 4x almost. Rejams and one set finds the fold here. So super weird dynamics, but we like to see it because I really believe both of these players are kind of an indication of not the most solid players. So we're gonna keep an eye out on his big raises and also on weird 3-bets from one set. And here we have the ace-king. I think I also remember this. So generally I want to 3-bet even against the 3x here. He is kind of active with stealing, and the 3x indicates a medium to strong hand like pocket jacks or ace queen or something, that he wants to get quite some folds pre-flop, but is like probably unsure on how to play it. Sure, the call here makes our hand very disguised, and we just don't want to get it all in pre-flop if we don't have to. 50 big blinds, because we love our chip lead and want to preserve this spot. And remember this because I think I called because of the king flush blocker, and he ends up with ace-jack, which kind of is not so surprising given how he played it. He seems to be very risk averse, not c-betting his nut flush on the flop. I don't think it's a trap. I think he just doesn't want to risk too much chips. He doesn't want to get it in here against, I don't know, a set or something. Maybe his idea was to check raise, but honestly I don't think so. Yeah. Long story short, I think we should just 3-bet our ace-king to 9 big blinds, blast, flop, and potentially turn. In this case, we would have lost all the big blinds, I'm guessing, against the nut flush draw. But oftentimes we get a pre-flop fold. A bit weird, but yeah. And my call here, maybe against this player, it's not even good with the king high flush blocker, because would he really bluff? I thought he might bluff the ace clubs here a lot, given the super passive line. But if you really think about it, it's not gonna happen that often. And yeah, here we had some connection issues, which is always nice on a final table, but yeah, we were back. And let's speed it up slightly. We have 2 players displaying the deal button. One set displayed it before, so that's always a good sign. Some players kind of afraid to play a final table. I think if you believe you have an edge, you always want to play it out, because you can have quite a big big edge against 8 other players. We see a 4.4x, of course not gonna get fancy with a trash in like 10-5, and definitely marking down at the 4.4x's, which is bigger than his 3.2, with a super nutty hand like ace-king suited. And we get the first knockout, jumping in price pool by just $200, but our ICM value going up significantly again. Already more than third place money, always nice to see. We could accept the deal here, but I think I have an edge on almost all players. Kind of a cooler for Andres, obviously with with the one outer flop here with top pair against top set, top full house. I wanted to preserve my stack size and just use good spots, because everything else, it's not really worth it with so many players where there's a lot of randomness involved, and you can just pick your spots as the big stack very carefully. And we got another knockout, already up to 7th place with $1,400. Queen check suited, definitely opening, and probably also calling up Welton. We wouldn't love it, but yeah, this is an amazing flop. My plan was to actually get it in here worst case, because we're blocking pocket jacks, ace jack, and if he wanna raise an ace hand here, would he really get it in for 60 big blinds with ace 8? Probably, with pocket 8s for sure, but that's about it, and we still have a ton of equity, so we have insanely much fold equity, and of course also real equity in case he wants to get it in. Okay, king 10, pretty standard. I think I'm gonna 3-bet against almost all players now. And now I'm definitely considering 3-betting. I hope I 3-bet. I went for the fold, but I think Amir King just has a natural sizing of 3x instead of anything else with almost all his range. And we can still put a lot of pressure on his medium strong hands here. Sure, sometimes he has this nutty hand. And now he went for the 2x, also something to note. So whatever that is, could be a way stronger hand or a way worse hand that he still wants to play for some reason. Queen 9 suited, I hope I go for it now, and I do. I might even, if we're getting 4-bet here against this particular player, I wouldn't hate a cold 5-bet and then a fold, because it's again having some good blockers and unblocking the cold 4-bet bluffs without having an ace, which mostly should consist of ace and king x hands. But yeah, not necessary, it gets through. We have an all-in from the shorty. Aces into deuces, and he immediately hits the ultra nuts. Just needs to fade a 5. Pretty bad color, because obviously the hearts left consist of more of the 5 than any other color, but yeah, he survives. Ace deuce I'm gonna open always here, and now it's again a 3-bet. It's a dynamic thing, but 3-betting the same person twice in a row usually gets a lot of credit. Some players don't, but with this sizing we're putting a ton of pressure against his deck, and it works out. The flop would have been nice, but better this way. Pocket 8s, nice hands to pick up here. It's gonna be interesting against the 3x. Yeah, I shove it here. I think it's the problem is we're only getting called by ace king, I guess, and better pairs. He even folds ace queen, which of course, I don't know. I don't love it with pocket 8s. I think, yeah, with the 2 short stacks to my left, if he's a bit ICM aware, or maybe even too much ICM aware, it might be a good play. I mean, pocket 8s is pretty strong, but it's also difficult to play post-flop, so I'm still not sure if I like the play or not. I think it's borderline, and when you run into something like the overpair, pocket queens, pocket jacks probably still snapping, I'm not sure about pocket 10s, but then GG. Getting an all-in from the shorty, unfortunately we cannot collect the bounty most likely. like a triple all-in. It's really nice ICM-wise for us. And for some miracle reason, the 10-9 worst hand wins against both. Not such a big miracle, typical 3-outers, 30% hand. Which is quite annoying because it redistributes the chips quite evenly. No super shorties left now, so most players can be a little bit more straightforward in their approach. Here considered ISOing, but the limp from under the gun, it's the first time we see it. Ace-4 really difficult to play if we're getting called, and I feel like this player is not the one that's gonna limp fold against a normal ISO size here enough that it makes it profitable. So yeah, we get out of the way, looking again for better spots. I think knowing when to choose your spots or having a good intuition of when it's a good time to get fancy and when not can be quite fundamental on a final table. I'd rather do it with, I don't know, King 5 suited here. It's so much better to play this hand than Ace-4, I believe, Ace-4 off. And the main reason is, like with King 5 suited, you can, on this board, I mean, it's a 4 flush, so there's not much you can do usually, but you can oftentimes wrap a straight, or again, of course, a flush if there's some good spots like this. Interesting line here. I think a check and then a jam. It's kind of weird. I think ADVERTISEMENT might consider calling with a... It's kind of a weird spot. He probably, I believe when he tanks here, he might be folding a pretty high flush. Because I think Amir King is not gonna jam here with less than the nut flush most of the time. Out of position. Yeah, so his line on the river looks insanely strong, might even be a full house. So I'm guessing ADVERTISEMENT made a good fold here. I don't imagine he would ever considering pretty long to call with a hand like a 7 high flush or worse. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see a 150 million stack. That really happens. I mean, you start with 100k, so it's just a, what is it, 1500x starting stack. But it feels good. 7-6 against the Minrise. I'm probably defending against any of the players. Maybe not against ADVERTISEMENT, because I really don't think he will have that many steel hands here. Maybe some ace-2 suited X that he just decides to min-raise, or king. I don't know. I'm guessing he's even jamming king check off plus king 10 suited. Jams again. Really don't want to give him a chance to double up easily here. If it's getting folded to me, a6 off is a good jam hand, obviously. Also a good 3-bet hand, I think. But never calling against him. I think the minimum to call here, probably ace jack. I don't know it. I don't think ace 10 can call, maybe ace 10 suited. Maybe ace 10 off is a nitty fold, not completely sure. But given that there's these two other short stacks and I think ace 10 off still needs to fold, he shouldn't be super wide here. Big blind, probably really thinking about it here. Ace jack suited, nice hand. Oh, it's weird. I don't know. I think we either jam or we flat, because 3-betting and getting 4-bet jammed is terrible. And the reason is we get a great pre-flop. I don't know. What was his sizing again? I need to check that. What was his flop sizing? Why am I snap folding here? The snap fold is a bit crazy. Okay, against this sizing I don't hate it. I mean, we're only hoping for a queen or maybe an ace on the turn, but even if we turn the ace, Can we be happy here? So actually, yeah, I thought he just 3x'd, like 3-bet 3 big blinds, then I wouldn't like the fold, but against the 4.9 into 6.4 pot, it's super nitty, but in the other hand, I really doubt he ever makes that without a pair or a really strong hand. Maybe every once in a while he's the queen jack for the open ender, but I don't really think so. The ace-4 fold, I think we could open it and just call it off against Wellington, fold against anyone else. Just putting a bit more pressure on here. Sure, it's a shitty hand, but some players will be a bit too tight, and we want to abuse that as the big stack. 2.5x and a flat. I'm guessing we're gonna see a squeeze here if he tanks. And it's a nice squeeze. Interesting sizing, not really big. Really profitable if he uses it as a bluff and it gets through. Pocket nines here. I remember the spot. Yeah, so let's slow it down a bit. I think this is always a get it in. Under gun seemed kind of active. Yeah, it's scary from his stack size, and a rejam is also scary, but potters are a little bit too good. So we get it in. King check should always fold here. And we run into aces. Flop the ultra nuts, super juicy. Sucking out on the aces like crazy. However, the river brings in the 10. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate. But we lose another player. GG. And he gets his bounty. Was a bit annoying given the wonderful flop we had. And the king jack should never call here, but what can you do? We're still in a good position, however not as lovely as in the beginning. Second in chips now, and the Brazilian guy to our right also getting closer slowly. I like a big 3-bet here, yeah. Putting a lot of pressure on his weak openings. That's really big. Maybe a little smaller. 8, oh, that's really big. I think I just want to go with 7.7 here, but okay, why not? Against the 2.5x, yeah, sure. Actually, against the 2.5x, that's fine. I thought against the 2.1x, 8.4 would be too big. He's been quite active. He knows he's the big stack, and he also knows my sizing is quite scary. So... And I haven't been that crazy active with light 3-bets yet, so I think it's a good spot to take. I think he might even fold pretty strong hands here, like ace jack, most likely he's folding, ace queen, probably not, but yeah. Oh, sorry for the noise outside, I hope you don't hear much about it. We have a lot of snow recently and they're clearing the roads. I don't hate the call in position. Players are not active enough to squeeze a lot, so we have a good chance to see a flop for cheap and can maybe sometimes outflop some pretty strong hands. Okay, this is a crazy hand, I love it. So obviously we here have a very strong and disguised draw. I would prefer my bet a little bit more if it's 5-6, because obviously we're open-ended, not just have a gut shot. And now we turn the open-ender, and I think, given that we lead out here, we have some 2-pair mostly, a lot of draws with some pair, maybe 7-5 of clubs, all that stuff. And a call isn't terrible, of course you can realize your equity. However, if you think about it, if you have a chance to make a nut flush draw fold here, because the deuce is really pretty bricky most of the time, unless you really have the 2-pair on the flop, or the crazy set that likes to donk, or like the 7 deuce, 4 deuce suited. 4 deuce suited doesn't make much sense, but yeah, so I really like to put max pressure, especially on this stack guy. Sure, sometimes we run into something ourselves, like a set, and then we are just hoping to find our straight or flush. But in this case we again have decently equity that it's not a suicide move. But if we get really strong hands here to fold, let's say even something like 8-9 of clubs, which probably should get it in on the flop. So I think this is more like a hand like queens, kings, aces that for some reason decides to fold and just wanted to see a safe turn, and then for some reason didn't have the balls to call off my jam. So a crazy spot. I think I like how I played it, but I think nobody would ever consider just calling the turn a bad move. Only problem is every once in a while you run into a better flush draw, or like he could even have like a flush draw plus a pair, like ace deuce on the turn. The only thing I don't think many flush draws would take his line. But if you ever run into a flush draw and get him to fold that on a turn, it's like a wonderful, wonderful play. Because then of course you get to deny a ton of equity. A bit weird, the spot. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. I mean, like I said, normal thing would be just to fold. Yeah, and here, what can you do? Over jam, it's fine. I'm happy he's taking this line and not making me bluff more. Small open from the button here from a 12 big blind stack. Usually very strong, but I think... Oh, he's really getting it in. And he's getting it in with ace queen suited here. I don't think it's a good line against... Sure, he has some equity, but not enough, I think, to stack off. It's against Amir King, who is playing so straightforward, I believe. So yeah, that was a bit weird. I think it should mostly jam his ace queen suited on the button. It's a bit weird. I mean, his opening is fine, but on the flop you need to be able to let it go if Amir King takes the line he took. Yeah, I wouldn't hate barreling, but with the diamonds it's a bit difficult. I mean, we're only wrapping check 9 or 9-6, which is a bit weird if you're gonna bet big now. Against a small bet like this, I mean, the conservative thing is to fold. I wouldn't hate the raise that I thought about here. He's not wrapping much. And giving our check on the turn, we actually have quite some... We have some backdoor flush draws. He might also have them, so it's kind of a close one. But just taking the fold and then taking better spots might be a good option, actually. I think, yeah, folding is okay. Everybody's ready to deal except one set, unfortunately, because just taking more than third place money is probably good, and then just playing for the bounties, just to reduce variance with the stack sizes currently. But I'm usually fine with both, so unless it would be life-changing money, if it's like 100k plus bounty on top, I really would want to deal, obviously, but in this case, we can play it out. Okay, now this Brazilian guy doesn't want to deal. I'm like, okay, now I need to crush you. Yeah, not much we can do here with the gut shot. The ace check, difficult thing. I think if one set would jam, I need to call off, but it wouldn't be a happy spot. Now it comes down to finding good steal spots, good re-steal spots, and also still preserving our stack and not getting involved when it's too marginal or the other range looks too strong. Definitely need to 3-bet here. The only thing that is problematic is like if we're getting 4-bet, what do we do? But I believe we need to jam it in if you're getting 4-bet. If you're getting jammed on, we're gonna fold the ace check, but yeah, it's ace check. Interesting spot. Not so easy, but I think it's a mistake to just flat, especially against this player. And ace 10, I want to 3-bet here again. we get it through, really nice. These medium small pots add up pretty quickly at this deck size. Queen 7, a good defend. I could lead here, but too many turns that make it difficult. I think just seeing... Yeah, he has some 6x, but I think I want to go for small value here. The question is, what do we get called by? But I think some 4x will call us, some under pairs, and maybe some ace high that doesn't believe us, especially if they're blocking flushes. Close one. Both lines seem fine, but this guy is not the player that starts bluffing himself, apparently. So checking on the river. Yeah. But it would be really thin value, to be honest, on this board. Also given the line, he has quite some 6x. Nice to have a hand like this. 5-handed. Wow, I go for the crazy call here. I mean, I'm hoping for a rejam, and everybody knows that Balen is opening a little bit wide. So terrible. Our hand is nicely disguised. And I think I need to go for value now. He has some traps here. He has some sets for sure. 7 isn't great when he check calls the flop. He has some ace-7, 7-8, 7-6 potentially that he calls the flop with. I don't know. Checking the turn, it's just weird. I mean, if he bets really big here, we would now need to just call. We cannot raise our hand for value ever on this river, I believe. I'm going for value now. I don't know, it was a weird line. Let me know in the comments, but I think you need to bet the turn for sure, and then we are in position, slow down on the river, obviously on this river. And even if he just calls, I'm not sure if he can get another value bet on the river. Given that there's a flush draw, I believe he would not just call the turn but raise it with a 7. However, good players should sometimes find the call with 7-6, a7 as a strong trap. And him tanking here, I really believe it might be something like queens, jacks, 10s, maybe 8s. It's a small sizing, so what do you put him on here? And also, do you think I should go for value here? I believe so, because we're totally under-wrapped. I think I show him the ace, and that's a bit weird because I shouldn't be flatting ace-king. Yeah. Ace-queen, opening on calling Andres and one set if they jam. Now I think we need to get it in. There's nothing we can do. It's a bit annoying because it's a lot of big blinds, and yeah, sometimes you run into ace-king, but we might get lucky, but we might also get unlucky. Yeah, nice flop, bad turn. Generally, of course, we were way behind, so I think it's just a cooler. I don't think you can ever fold here. Doesn't matter his sizing from Andres. I think you could just get it in pre-flop. King 8, I like the open, and of course folding against anyone here. Check 3, easy fold. Ace-10 opening here, and against Andres I might forward. So this is interesting. I really thought about it because once it was quite tight, but I believe you make a big mistake if you're folding ace-10 here. I think bottom range might be ace-9 off, but definitely ace-9 suited. And ace-10 off needs to call, and as we can see, folding the very weak ace-deuce, jamming the very weak ace-deuce here. And we're just hoping to hold this pretty annoying board, and we do. Picking up a nice bounty on top. And now we're down to 4 players, already almost 3k, and the prize pool is ours as a 4th place, if we were to be busting now, which is quite unlikely given that we regained our chip lead. Yeah, king 3 open, putting pressure on them is okay. You don't always have to do it. I think it's a close one. Nice flop. I like the check here. It's super disguised. He has some better king X. We don't want to bloat the flop. And we see a really big sizing, which is a bit annoying. The 10 clubs might slow him down, but if he bets again, we definitely need to fold. And he does it with it. It's a nice bluff on the turn. I like it that he finds it here. But we got max value with our line, which is also really nice. I'm surprised to see him find that bluff on the turn. I think it makes sense for him to slow down on the flush river because we are having the same line with a lot of flush draw hands. And he can't really follow through. If he would have a flush block, I would want to see a jam from him. But then we would have never found out it was a bluff. Again, going for the light 3-bet against our friend here, and it works out again, which is obviously super beautiful. And yeah, I think this is the last hand. Yeah. 4 left. You will see the final hands in the next video. Let me know in the comments about some kind of weird hands. Looking back at it, I think I took some good 3-bet light spots, but also some weird flats. With the aces, I think it's kind of fine, but post-flop play, I'm not super happy with it. The ace-king flat against Emir king, I think, is a mistake. It's a bit too needy. Sure, we don't want to risk the 50 big blinds if you don't have to pre-flop, but I think we just have to take the spot. It's a bit too strong against the weak player. I mean, we didn't know back then that he's gonna mostly 3x open, so we took it like a little bit scary. But ace-king is ace-king in the spot, and we want to deny equity that he got for pretty much for free here against our hand that dominates him pre-flop. So yeah, let me know some of your thoughts on the plays I had, and I hope to see you guys and girls again in the next one. Hope you had some fun. Good luck at the tables for now, and see you very soon again. Bye bye.